Here we go, 24,395. We've got the multi-caser. I'm sure one of the guys are going to come here and help me soon. We'll see. Let's go Zona and Tampa. There you go. Dazzlers for Vancouver of Demko. Canvas of Tkachuk for Ottawa. Portraits of Perreault for the Rangers. Yep. Encore of Urson for Philly. We got a Tracking Systems of Gustafson for Minnesota. Sebrango Young Guns for Ottawa. Canvas of Barkov for Florida. Young Guns of Duran for Boston. Goal-oriented of Crosby for the Penguins. Young Guns Canvas Black and White variant. Sebrango for Ottawa. Encore of Hughes for Vancouver. Compadres for Colorado. Encore of Gustin for Minnesota. A Bustle of Holloway for the Blues. Coco for Seattle Young Guns. I think it's Coco. K-O-K-K-O. We got an Outburst Silver for Anaheim of Gibson. Anaheim's still available, I believe, in the other one. It's kind of funny. Sizzle of Evangelista for the Preds. And a Cup Quest for Nashville of Roman Josi. We've got a canvas of Voronkov for the Jackets, a Moore Young Guns for Chicago, and a Holloway Portraits for the Blues. We got a sizzle of Marshman for Dallas, Snuggerud for the Blues, Young Guns, and a Portrait of Lev Shunov for Chicago. We got a Sparkle Tracking of Skinner for the Oilers, Raymond for the Red Wings canvas. Compositions for Buffalo of Dahlin. We got an Encore of Heischer for the Devils. Forsberg composition Sparkle for the Preds. And a Mers Lickens for the Blue Jackets Tracking Systems. We got a Bustle for the Red Wings of Sider. Young Guns for Calgary of Morton. And a Panarin goal-oriented for the Rangers. Derek, come on, man. You should know the answers to that one, Derek. Dazzlers for Minnesota of Gustafson. Canvas of Duclair for the Islanders. And a Larkin compositions for the Red Wings. I believe in Derek. Any guesses, Derek? We've got a Dazzlers for Ottawa of Stutzel. Canvas for the Rangers, Shesterkin. Goal-oriented for the Panthers of Sam Reinhart. Encore of Ostlund for Buffalo. Compadres for Tampa Bay. And we got a Young Guns of Elias Pettersson for Vancouver. Wow. Thanks for being late. We've got a goal-oriented gold number to 25 for the Red Wings of Raymond. Sizzle of Luke Hughes for the Devils. And a Portraits for the Oilers of Draisaitl. Canvas for Buffalo of Holloway. Or Blues, sorry, Holloway. We got a Young Guns for a Washington of Frank. And a Compositions for the Islanders of Barzil. We've got a Tracking Systems of Markstrom for the Devils. Sparkle. Verhaeghe for the Panthers canvas. Portraits for Vancouver of Quinn Hughes. We got a black and white canvas for Nashville of Stamkos. Encore for the Blues of Thomas. And an Ovechkin sizzle for Washington. No, you don't. Utah, man. Utah. Tracking systems of Dostal for the Ducks. Young Guns for the Rangers, Perreault. And a Cup Quest for the Buffalo Sabres of Tage Thompson. We got an encore of Reinhardt for Florida. We got a Gensel for Tampa, Bustle. Young Guns for the Winnipeg Jets of Ford. We've got a Young Guns Outburst Silver for the Red Wings of Mazur. Red Wings Young Guns Outburst Silver. Tracking System Sorokin for the Islanders and a goal-oriented for Minnesota of Kaprizov. We've got a canvas of Harley for Dallas. Young Guns for Seattle of Osman. And a compositions for Boston of David Pasternak. We've got an encore of Malkin for the Penguins. Cup Quest Sparkle of Kreider for the Rangers. Compadres for the Maple Leafs of Matthews. Sizzle of Lekanen for Colorado. Young Guns of Moore for the Anaheim Ducks. Cup Quest Kaprizov for Minnesota. Kaprizov. We've got a Dazzlers for Calgary of Wolf. We got a canvas of Sanheim for Philly. And a Wyatt Johnston Portraits for Dallas. We've got an encore of Camel for Nashville. Sizzle of Fowler for the Blues. And a Camel Young Guns for Nashville. We've got a population count 500 for Buffalo of Norris. Sizzle of Kadri for Calgary. Goal-oriented of Marchenko for the Jackets. We got a Compadres Sparkle for Vegas. Eichel Canvas for Vegas. Brent Clark Portraits for LA. Canvas Young Guns for the Oilers of Rodrigue. Young Guns of Suzuki for Carolina. And a Robert Thomas Compositions for the Blues. Encore Hedman for Tampa. Tracking Systems Binnington for the Blues. And a Koivunen for the Penguins, Young Guns. Utah got 0. No, Utah definitely has more than 0. Canvas black and white variant for San Jose of Will Smith. Encore for the Blues of Dvorsky. And a tracking system of Skinner for the Oilers. We got a Bustle of Bertuzzi for the Hawks. Cup Quest for the Jets of Hellebuck. And a Young Guns for Chicago of Lev Shunov. We've got for the Devils, Outburst Silver of Heeshear. We've got a Compadres for the Devils. Compositions of Kyle Connor for the Jets. We've got a canvas of Marchenko for the Jackets. We got a Young Guns of Weissblatt for Nashville. And a goal-oriented of Braden Point for Tampa. We've got an encore of Olmark for Ottawa. We got a Lane Hudson Composition Sparkle for the Montreal Canadiens. Quinn Hughes Sizzle Reel Vancouver. Sizzle of McKinnon for the Avalanche. We got a Gatcombe for the Islanders Young Guns. And a Morrissey Portraits for the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, the Mammoth have all the Keller stuff. I know for sure they have Keller stuff. We've got quite a few Mammoths in the first case. We've got an encore for the Jets of Morrissey. Sizzle of Bouchard for the Oilers. Callahan, Young Guns for Boston. We've got a exclusives for the Avalanche of McKinnon. McKinnon to 100 for the Avs. Bustle of Knives for the Maple Leafs. And a Cup Quest of Kyle Connor for the Jets. Young Guns Canvas for the Penguins of Koivunen. Young Guns of Lund for San Jose. Portraits of Sider for the Red Wings. You're not sure? Well, I literally opened some Mammoth in the first case, so. We got a Tanev for the Maple Leafs. Clear cut. Encore for Ottawa of Stützle and a Tracking Systems of Ottinger for Dallas. We've got a Sizzle McCann for the Kraken. Mazur Young Guns for the Red Wings. Compositions of Rossi for Minnesota. Encore of Carlson for Pittsburgh. Bustle of Kadri for Calgary. Checklist, Lev Shunov and Demidov. So that will be one of the randoms unless we get two. We've got an Outburst Silver checklist of Demidov and Lev Shunov. So that'll be a fun random. We got a Sizzle of Luukkonen for Buffalo and a Bedard Portraits for Chicago. We've got a Bustle Sparkle for Chicago Bertuzzi. Canvas of K'Andre Miller for the Rangers. And a Brady Tkachuk goal-oriented for Ottawa. We've got a canvas for LA of Doughty. We got a Young Guns for the Red Wings of Shine. Compositions of McDavid for the Oilers. We've got a Bustle of Carlson for Anaheim. Perek Young Guns for Calgary. Cup Quest for the Rangers of Kreider. We've got a Dazzlers of Crosby for the Penguins. Zellweger for Anaheim Canvas. And a Portrait for Buffalo of Oslin. We got an Encore of Hyman for the Oilers. Sizzle of Tkachuk for Ottawa. And a Hudson Young Guns for the Oilers. All right. We've got an Encore of Carlson for Vegas. A Portrait of Dougie Hamilton for the Devils. Sizzle of Makar for the Avs. We've got, ooh, that's cool, a Swagnificent for the San Jose Sharks of Celebrini. Swagnificent. Celebrini. We've got a Talbot Tracking Systems for the Red Wings and a Compositions of Gensel for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Encore of Carlson for Washington, Compadres of the Rangers, and a Coco Young Guns for Seattle. We got a Young Guns Canvas for the Red Wings of Mazur. Young Guns for Anaheim of Wash. Goal-oriented of Stammer for Nashville. Encore Blue for the Jets of Scheifele. Encore of Wyatt Johnston for Dallas. And a Bustle for Philadelphia of Owen Tippett. We got a Tracking Systems of Kemper for LA. Duran for Boston Young Guns. Portraits for Calgary of Kadri. We've got an Outburst Silver for the LA Kings of Kemper. We've got a Sizzle of McDavid for the Oilers. And a Cup Quest of Bedard for Chicago. We've got a canvas of Jack Hughes for the Devils. Perreault Young Guns for the Rangers. And an Eklund for the Sharks portraits. We've got a Sizzle Sparkle of McKinnon for the Avs. Canvas of Crosby for the Penguins. And a Compositions of Toffoli for the Sharks. We got a Tracking Systems of Demko for Vancouver. We got a Nyman for Seattle Young Guns. And a Goal-Oriented of Matthews for the Leafs. Dazzlers of Neighbors for the Blues. Canvas of Bedard for Chicago. Compositions of Kopitar for LA. We'll get you some Mammoth, Derek. Don't you worry. Some Mammoth. Encore of Jenner for the Jackets. We got a Bustle Stankoven for Carolina. And a Young Guns for Seattle of Osman. Gonna get you some Mammoth. We've got a population count 500 of Rust for Pittsburgh. Tracking Systems of Joy Decord for Seattle. Goal-Oriented of Willie Nylander for the Maple Leafs. McAvoy for Boston Canvas. Frank Young Guns for the Capitals. And a Lane Hudson Compositions for Montreal. Encore Blue of Jenner for the Jackets. Perfetti for the Jets Encore. And a Bustle of Alex Tuck for Buffalo. We've got a Tracking Systems of Montembeault for Montreal. Young Guns for Carolina of Suzuki. And a Cup Quest for Seattle of McCann. We got a Outburst Silver for Minnesota, Foligno. Outburst Silver. Sizzle of Pasternak for the Boston Bruins. And a Compositions of Forsberg for the Preds. We got a Canvas of Stankoven for Carolina. Ryan Leonard Young Guns for the Caps. Goal-Oriented of Caulfield for Montreal. We got a Tracking System Sparkle of Binnington for the Blues. Canvas of Hagel for Tampa. And a Werenski Portraits for the Blue Jackets. Encore for the Oilers, Dre Seidel. Portraits Sparkle of Hagel for Tampa. And a Sizzle of Reinhardt for Florida. Encore of Barbashev for Vegas. Compadres for Nashville. And a Rodriguez for the Oilers Young Guns. Tracking Systems of Olmark for Ottawa. Young Guns of Wood for Nashville. And a Portraits for Tampa Bay of Hagel. Dazzlers of Brant Clark for LA. Canvas for the Oilers of Hopkins. And a Beniers Compositions for Seattle. Seattle Encore Beniers. Sherwood Bustle for Vancouver. And a Young Guns for the Winnipeg Jets of Ford. All right. On to the back half. We've got a Dazzlers of Aho for Carolina. We got a canvas of Slavin for Carolina. And a portrait for Washington of Ovechkin. Encore of Demko for Vancouver. Sizzle of Kachuk for Florida. Young Guns for the Anaheim Ducks of Wash. We've got a number to 250 deluxe for Boston of Kostelich. Bustle of Marchesso for Nashville. And a Suzuki for Montreal compositions. We got a Bustle Sparkle for the Devils of Bratt. Perfetti for the Jets canvas. And a Jack Hughes compositions for the Devils. Young Guns canvas for Seattle of Nyman. We got a Young Guns of Skarek for the Islanders. And a goal-oriented for the Tampa Bay Lightning of Kucherov. Encore for Carolina of Aho. Sizzle of Tippett for Philly. And a Young Guns of Rinzel for the Chicago Blackhawks. We've got a clear-cut base for the Panthers of Loisterainen. Encore of Kyrou for the Blues. Shesterkin tracking system for the Rangers. Outburst Silver of Robert Thomas for the Blues. We got a Sizzle of Crosby for the Penguins. And a Cup Quest of DeBrincat for the Red Wings. We've got a Compadres for Washington. Perek, Young Guns for Calgary. And a Dvorsky for the Blues portraits. Canvas for the Islanders of Barzal. Young Guns for Chicago of Doc. And a Zuccarello portraits for Minnesota. We got an Encore of Bratt for the Devils. Portrait Sparkle of Ostlund for Buffalo. And we got a Joseph Wool for the Maple Leafs tracking systems. Bustle of Kane for the Oilers. Abels, Young Guns for Philly. Goal-oriented of Draisaitl for the Oilers. Dr. Draisaitl. We've got a Dazzlers of Dougie Hamilton for the Devils. Canvas of Reinhart for Florida. Goal-oriented of McKinnon for the Avs. We've got a Encore of Hudson for Montreal. Compadres for the Oilers. And a Melanson Young Guns for Seattle. We've got a Dazzlers pink variant of Hamilton for the Devils. Sizzlers of Marchenko for the Jackets. And a portrait of Tage Thompson for Buffalo. Sparkle Sizzle of Kadri for Calgary. Joseph Wool canvas for the Maple Leafs. And a portrait of Matthews for the Maple Leafs. Canvas Young Guns for the Rangers of Robertson. Young Guns of Quillen for the Maple Leafs. And a compositions of Stutzel for Ottawa. Encore Kempe for LA. Bustle of Reinhart for Florida. And we got a Tolopilo Young Guns for Vancouver. Tolopilo. We've got for Calgary Pospisil. Outburst Silver. We got Florida Panthers, Compadres, and a goal-oriented for New Jersey of Jesper Bratt. We got a canvas of Zari for Calgary. We got a Sillinger, Young Guns for the Jackets, and an Ovechkin compositions for the Capitals. Encore blue variant of Carlson for Vegas. Keller for the Mammoth. Encore. And a sizzle of Aho for Carolina. We got a tracking systems of Blackwood for the Avalanche. Young Guns, Demidov. Morial with a Demidov already now. Cup Quest for the Oilers of Hopkins. We've got an encore of Troy Terry for the Ducks. Blue Jackets portraits of Werenski Sparkle. And a Matthew Nyes sizzle for the Maple Leafs. Sizzle of Wyatt Johnson for Dallas. We got a Duke Young Guns for Tampa. And a Cup Quest of Eklund for San Jose Sharks. And again, ladies and gentlemen, let's join all the breaks that we can. 5 left, and it looks like 8 left in those ones. Easily can get them going. We've got a Dazzlers of Kempe for LA, a canvas of Makar for the Avs, and a compositions of Robertson for Dallas. We got an encore of Snuggerud for the Blues, tracking systems of Vasilevsky for Tampa, and a Hudson Young Guns for the Oilers. We've got a number to 250 Lafferty for Buffalo Deluxe. We got a Compadres for Montreal, and a Cup Quest for the Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner. We've got a Sparkle tracking of Lindgren for Washington, canvas for the Red Wings of Larkin, and a Pettersson for Vancouver, goal-oriented. Canvas of Pettersson for Vancouver, Finley Young Guns for Tampa, and a portrait of Jarvis for Carolina. Encore for Nashville of Marchesso, tracking systems of Markstrom for the Devils, and for the Calgary Flames, Young Guns of Currens. Encore blue of Carlson for Washington, Sorokin for the Islanders Encore, and a sizzle of Dakota Joshua for Vancouver. Sizzle of Leo Carlson for Anaheim, Ryan Leonard for Washington Young Guns, and a compositions of Austin Matthews for the Maple Leafs. Outburst Silver, Nazar for Chicago. We got a Bustle of Bratt for the Devils, and a portrait for the Rangers of Adam Fox. We got a canvas of Nason for the Devils. We got a Young Guns of Rodriguez for the Oilers, and a compositions for the Hawks of Bedard. Encore of Byfield for LA, Nylander goal-oriented Sparkle for the Leafs, and a Lindgren for Washington tracking system. Compadres for Vegas, Young Guns of Wood for Nashville, and a Cup Quest for LA, Kempe. All right. We start off with a Young Guns clear cut for the Islanders. Gatcomb. Young Guns clear cut Gatcomb. Encore for the Sharks of Eklund, and a sizzle of Kent Johnson for the Jackets. We got a Bustle red variant, number to 199 for Minnesota of Boldy. Sizzle of Draisaitl for the Oilers, and a Portraits for Nashville, Marchessault. Canvas of Nylander for the Leafs, Brenda Moore, Young Guns for Carolina, and a Celebrini for the Sharks, compositions. Outburst Silver for the Carolina Hurricanes, Jordan Staal. We got a Tracking Systems for Calgary of Wolf, and a goal-oriented of Ovechkin for the Caps. We've got a Tracking Systems of Grubauer, Seattle, Young Guns of Pettersson for Vancouver, Cup Quest of Nietzsche for the Avalanche. Seattle Canvas of Montour, Young Guns of Dvorsky for the Blues, and a Compositions Makar for the Avs. Sizzle Sparkle of Hughes for Vancouver, Canvas of Neighbors for the Blues, and a Portrait of Malkin for the Penguins. Encore Bedard for Chicago, Cup Quest Sparkle for the Devils of Meyer, and a Compadres of Aho for Carolina. Well, I guess Carolina team. Encore Werenski for the Jackets. We got a Bustle of Boldy for Minnesota. And a Young Guns for Chicago of Doc. Sizzle of McTavish for the Ducks. Tolopilo for Vancouver Young Guns. And for Vancouver, Demko Cup Quest. Dazzlers of Lev Shunov for Chicago. Mers Lickens for the Blue Jackets Canvas. And a Line Portraits for Morial. Encore for the Rangers of Miller. Sizzle of Perfetti for the Jets. And a Robidaw Carolina Young Guns. Robidaw.
How's it going? Good.
We've got a Young Guns Deluxe for the Islanders, Gatcomb. Holy moly. Gatcomb, clear cut and a deluxe. We've got for Carolina Tracking Systems, Code Chetkov, and a Cup Quest, Timo Meier for the Devils. Canvas Young Guns for Buffalo of Oslin, Young Guns for Philly of Gotcher, and a Portraits for the Devils of Dougie Hamilton. Black and white variant canvas of Kucherov for Tampa, Encore for Minnesota Faber, and a Compadres for the Winnipeg Jets. Outburst Silver for the Devils of Markstrom. We got a Tracking Systems of Thompson for Washington, and a Cup Quest of Robertson for Dallas. We got a Canvas of Sherwood for Vancouver, Oslin Young Guns for Buffalo, and a Portraits for Nashville of Matthew Wood. Sizzle of Matthews for the Leafs, Young Guns of Dorwart for Philadelphia, and a goal-oriented of McDavid for the Oilers. Encore of Gauthier for Anaheim. We got a Beniers Compositions Sparkle for Seattle, and a Bustle of Lane Hudson for Montreal. Compadres Sparkle for the Devils. Kako for Seattle Canvas. Compositions of Carlson for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Encore of Batherson for Ottawa. Sizzle of Bobrovsky for Florida. And a Rinzel Young Guns for Chicago. We got a Tracking Systems of Askarov for the Sharks. Moore for Anaheim Young Guns. And a Compositions of Kachuk for the Panthers. Seattle, Joey Decord, Dazzlers. Canvas of Comfort for the Red Wings. And a Raymond goal-oriented for the Red Wings. Encore of Thompson for Buffalo. Compadres for the Red Wings. And a Finley Young Guns for Tampa Bay. We have hit, well, I've hit a Demidov in the first case, and we hit a Demidov in the second case. I'm hoping I get 2 in this one. I want to get a multi-Demidov. One per case. Well, I've only opened two, so. Dazzlers of Geeky for Boston. Canvas of Aho for Carolina. And a Compositions of Aho for Carolina. Encore Konechny for Philly. Tracking Systems of Urson for Philly. Young Guns for Seattle of Nyman. We've got an Outburst Outburst Red, number to 25 of Varlamov for the Islanders. Islanders crushing this case. My gosh. A Bustle for Ottawa of Tkachuk, and a Cup Quest Hyman for the Oilers. We got a canvas of Pietrangelo for Vegas, Doorwork for Philadelphia Young Guns, and a Panthers portrait of Matthew Tkachuk. Sparkle Sizzle of Fowler for the Blues, canvas of Couturier for Philly, and a Compositions of Monahan for the Blue Jackets. We got a clear-cut base for the Boston Bruins of Beecher, a Encore of Logan Cooley for Utah, and a Swayman for the Boston Bruins tracking systems. Encore of DeBrincat for the Red Wings, Sizzle of Kyle Connor for the Jets, and a Cagnoni for the San Jose Sharks Young Guns. We got a Compadres for San Jose, Dvorsky Young Guns for the Blues, and we got a goal-oriented of Eichel for Vegas. You don't have to worry about the color. No. We got an Outburst Silver for Florida Panthers of Forsling. We got a Sizzle of Forsberg for Nashville, and a Cup Quest of Carlson for the Penguins. We've got a canvas of Demko for Vancouver, Robertson for the Rangers Young Guns, and a portraits for Ottawa of Olmark. We've got an Encore of Ryan Leonard for Washington, Cup Quest Sparkle for Seattle of McCann, and for Vegas, Aiden Hill Tracking Systems. A Bustle for the Jackets of Werenski, Brenda Moore Young Guns for Carolina, and a Keller Compositions for Utah. Oh my gosh, man, hurry up.
Sorry, take it.
Well, what are you dealing with those for?
Just organizing it for you.
No, I don't need to organize.
Bro. Last pack mojo.
Alright, we'll do the canvases. Did you sort them by Young Gun canvases in here? Or no? Oh, okay. Canvas of Nylander, Comfer, Neighbors, Montour, McAvoy, Zellweger, Hagel, Stankoven, Barkov, Tkachuk, Raymond, Voronkov, Ovechkin, Lee, Thompson, Lafreniere, Kako, Sherwood, Hopkins, Doughty, Duclair, Keandre Miller, Ferraro, Eriksson Ek, Draisaitl, Dostal, Barbashev, Hamilton, Gustafson, Bedard, Tanev, Norris, Yossi, Ekholm, Kyle Connor, Kaprizov, Crosby's, Merzlikins, Jack Hughes, Zari, Reinhart, and Joseph Wool. We got a Cup Quest. Kaprizov, DeBrincat, Bedard, Shesterkin, Robertson, Sparkle, Shesterkin, Hopkins, Thompson, Demko, Nietzsche, Sparkle, Kaprizov, Kyle Connor, Hyman, Carlson, Kempe, Sparkle, Tage Thompson, Hellebuck, Eklund, Yossi, Marner, Meyer, McCann. We got portraits. Ovechkin, Draisaitl, Zuccarello, Dvorsky, Eklund, Kadri, Makar, Wood, Marchesso, Thompson, Matthews, Hughes, Draisaitl, Makar, Line, Malkin, Sider, Bedard, Quinn Hughes, Morrissey, Kachuk, Olmark, Johnston, Clark, Perreault, Levshunov, Holloway, Jarvis, Fox, Hamilton, Hagel, Oslin. And the sparkles in this one were Draisaitl and Makar. Dazzlers, pink variant of Makar. Ooh, that's cool. Wow. We've got a gold for Carolina, Kochetkov. That's pretty sweet. We got a pink of Lafreniere. Regular ones of Caulfield, Dvorsky, Marchesso, Eichel, Oslin, Eklund, Letang, Demidov, Raymond, Vetrano, Ottinger, and Fox. We got goal-oriented. Kucherov, Matthews, McDavid, Raymond, McKinnon, Kaprizov Sparkle, Bratt, Reinhardt Sparkle, Reinhardt Regular, Kaprizov, Stamkos, Ovechkin, Kachuk, Panarin, Eichel, Marchenko, Point, Crosby, Draisaitl, Pettersson, Nylander. We got the tracking system Sparkle, Ottinger, Regular Shesterkin, Hellebuck, Wool, Kemper, Demko, Bobrovsky, Sparkle Merzlikins, Thompson, Askarov, Blackwood, Sparkle Saros, Sorokin, Dostal, Grubauer, Wolf, Talbot, Ottinger, Saros, Urson, Swayman, Hill, Skinner, Binnington, Gustafson, Merzlikins, Vasilevsky, Markstrom, Lindgren, Kochetkov, Olmark, Montembeault. Composition, Suzuki, Hughes, Toffoli, Sparkle, Quinn Hughes, Kopitar, Carlson, Celebrini, Kachuk, Stutzel, Keller, Ovechkin, Hughes, Pasternak, Barzal, Makar, Gensel, Larkin, Rossi, McDavid, Monahan, Aho, Thomas, Connor, Pasternak, Dahlin, Crosby, Robertson, Sparkle, Barzal, Matthews, Bedard, Hudson, Sparkle, Kopitar, and a Beniers. Matty Beniers. Let's do the Bustles. Bustle Sparkle of Kadri, Bustle Sparkle of Nyes, Carlson, and Sider. Regulars of Marchesso, Kane, Stankoven, Hudson, Reinhardt, Gensel, Boldy, Tippett, Kadri, Carlson, Nyes, Kachuk, Werenski, Bertuzzi, Jarvis, Holloway, Sider, Bratt, and Sherwood. Sizzle! Sparkles of Luukkonen and Bouchard. Crosby, Tippett, Makar, McDavid, Bobrovsky, Matthews, Johnson, Draisaitl, Marchenko, Aho. Is it a black variant or just a little darker? A little darker. Wyatt Johnson. Nyes, Ovechkin, Luke Hughes, Kachuk, Lehkonen, Perfetti, McTavish, Bouchard, Luukkonen, Sparkle of Markstrom, McCann, Cal Connor, Forsberg, Fowler, Kadri, McKinnon, Hughes, Evangelista, Marshmont, Carlson, Sparkle McCann, Joshua, Reinhardt, Pasternak, and a Sparkle Evangelista. Encores. We got an... Oh, wait. Is that the good stuff? Never mind. I will do that after. All right. Compadres, Washington, Rangers, Tampa, Detroit, Oilers, Florida, Toronto, Carolina, San Jose, Devils, Avs, Montreal, Vegas, Winnipeg, and Nashville. I think these are the Encore. Encore Blue, Raymond, Celebrini, Caulfield, Nylander. Regulars, Bouchard, Slavkovsky, Binnington, Stone, Carlson, Johnston, Carlson. Jenner, Batherson, Faber, Gauthier, Thompson, Zibanejad, Nyes, Kucherov, Riley, Moore, Scheifele, Vetrano, Taves, Bedard, Eklund, Werenski, Miller, Rossi, Jones, Clark, Levshunov, Svechnikov, Sider, Barkov, Saros, Vasilevsky, Sanheim, Makar, Forsberg, Blackwood, Kochetkov, Perot, Fantilli, Shesterkin, Ovechkin, Pasternak, Bobrovsky, Beniers, Barbashev, Draisaitl, Perfetti. Young Gun Canvases. That'll be a random between the Blues and Calgary. We got a Skarek for the Islanders. We got a Melanson Young Guns canvas for Seattle. We've got a Young Guns canvas of Rinzel for Chicago. We've got a Sabrango Young Guns for Ottawa. And we got for Seattle Young Guns of Coco. Seattle Young Guns canvas. All right, let's do these. Clear cut base of Zub for Ottawa. We got a clear cut of Malkin for the Penguins. We got a clear cut for Ottawa of Amadio. We've got for the Oilers, Hudson. Young Guns, clear cut, Hudson. That's pretty sweet. Population count 1,000 for Vegas of Pietrangelo. Population count 1,000 of Raymond for the Red Wings. Population count 1,000 of Norris for Buffalo. We've got a Young Guns Outburst Silver of Currens for Calgary. Did I say 100 or 1,000? Young Guns Outburst Silver of Sabrango for Ottawa. So far, this guy seems to be the #1 guy that we pull. Another Young Guns Outburst Silver of Morton for Calgary. Outburst Silvers of Pesci for the Devils. We got a Chatfield for Carolina. We got a Talbot for the Red Wings. We've got for the Blue Jackets of Kent Johnson. We've got a Panarin for the Rangers. We've got an Engvall for the Islanders. We've got an Ekholm for the Oilers. For the Oilers, Stuart Skinner. And we got for Carolina, Seth Jarvis. All right, let's do the Young Guns. It'll be easy to do it. All right. Well, nice start on the top. Demidov, obviously. We've got a Killian for the Maple Leafs. Seattle Melanson, Young Guns. Duke, Young Guns for Tampa. Dolapilo for Vancouver. Sillinger for the Blue Jackets. Lev Shunov for Chicago. Suzuki for Carolina. Kemmel for Nashville. Koivunen for Pittsburgh. Gatcomb for the Islanders. Weissblatt for Nashville. Perek for Calgary. Skarek for the Islanders. Wash for Anaheim. Rinzel for Chicago. Abels for Philly. Doc for Chicago. Dorwart for Philly. Ford for Winnipeg. Gotcher for Philly. Moore for Anaheim. Rinzel for Chicago. Oslin for Buffalo. Nyman for Seattle. Dvorsky for the Blues. Cagnoni for the Sharks. Brindamore for Carolina. Dorwart for Philly. Robertson for the Rangers. Currens for Calgary. Hudson for the Oilers. Leonard for Washington. Wood for Nashville. Finley for Tampa. Rodriguez for Oilers. Coco for Seattle. Robidoff for Carolina. Wash for Anaheim. Duran for Boston. Nyman for Seattle. Perot for the Rangers. Rodriguez for the Oilers. Frank for the Caps. Suzuki for Carolina. Shine for the Red Wings. Wood for the Preds. Leonard for the Caps. Callahan for Boston. Mazur for the Red Wings. Lund for San Jose. We got a rando of the Demidov Levshunov. Hudson for the Oilers. Perek for Calgary. Finley for Tampa. Doc for Chicago. Brindamore for Carolina. Patterson for Vancouver. Tolopilo for Vancouver. Dvorsky for the Blues. Sabrango for Ottawa. Moore for Chicago. Snuggerud for the Blues. Morton for Calgary. Coco for Seattle. Duran for Boston. Moore for Anaheim. Osman for Seattle. Perreault for the Rangers. Frank for Washington. Ford for Winnipeg. Pedersen, Vancouver. So only one Demidov again. So it's 3 cases, only 3 Demidovs. All right, now we got an encore number to 50 for the Blues of Dvorsky. We got number to 250, Taves for the Avalanche. Devon Taves. We got for the Blues, Falk, Deluxe number to 250. We've got a black and white canvas of Hopkins for the Oilers. We've got a black and white canvas of Stan Coven for the Canes. We got a black and white canvas of Hagel for Tampa. We've got a black and white canvas Young Guns of Brindamore for Carolina. We've got a exclusives to 100 of Tom Wilson for Washington. Swagnificent Mark for Ottawa. Sizzle number to 19. Is it numbered? Those aren't numbered. I thought they were. Oh, they are. Sorry, 199 Sizzle Makar for the Avs. And we've got for the Maple Leafs number to 199 Cup Quest Mitch Mana. All right, let me do the left and the right. How many of the... let's see. So that only applies to the Outburst Silver Demidov and the canvas. So 3 times. Good luck. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The left are going to get them. So that's the Blues in Montreal.